Good morning, Olivia. Hello, everyone. Hello to Sean and Karen. Would you say, DJ? Can we please have some snow? Oh, I agree with that. It won't be long. It won't be long. It won't be long. Um, I'll tell you what. First off, let me introduce myself. I'm Brian Good. In case you didn't know, maybe it's your first time here. If it is, welcome. We do these updates every day. Sometimes, if I'm here, we do these every day. And there's active weather. Obviously, it's a little more urgent. We go into alert day status, and we do maybe more than one of these in a day to try to keep you guys updated. I don't see a need for that today, which is good, but certainly an active pattern to talk about in the days ahead. And we're going to do just that. A lot of you are already commenting on our social pages. That's the best way to do that because we can't show the comments on the streaming. We hope that that will change soon. But at the moment, I see several of you asking, let's see. Well, actually, a lot of you just happy about Friday. Everyone's happy about Friday. Hey, type 1 if you're happy about Friday. If you're having a good week. Type 2 if you're having an okay week. And type 3 if you need to go out partying tonight because it's been a rough week. I'm hoping I see a lot of ones, but I got a feeling, this time of the year, things can get a little stressful, right? So there'll probably be a lot of 3s coming in. 1 and 2. Hi, Angela. Hope you're doing well. Joe. Joe's going to have a wild night. Hang in there, Joe. Hello, Jared. Say your comments on YouTube as well. Going to Holiday World, Angie, coming up on Sunday. That's a tough one, Angie, as you're about to see with Futurecast on Sunday, how that's going to play out. It's not all bad news for that area of Indiana, for Santa Claus, Indiana, and I'll explain with Futurecast. So it's a good question. And I know a lot of you have questions on the weekend setup. We're going to talk about that next week. We certainly have to talk about because, yes, I do think we're going to get alert days for next week. Yay. So be aware of that. And we'll go into more detail coming up in just a second. But more importantly, let's bring up the great news of all. Oh, the countdown to fall. Yeah, we're talking about snow. DJ was wanting snow. Well, we're counting down to at least the calendar saying it's autumn around here. You know what? I take it back. I was about to be really critical of weather patterns and Mother Nature in general. And I apologize, Mother Nature. I'm not trying to do that. But fall is actually one of the few seasons that does seem to line up. We usually have a season changer front very close to when fall happens. It's been happening many times. The other seasons don't line up. Winter never lines up, it seems like. Spring never does. Summer sort of does. Summer is kind of a weird setup where we kind of go in and out of summer for a while around here. But fall certainly has much more of a harder hit to it, and it usually is close to that date. So I think we should be excited about 58 days because I think it's a pretty good chance that we're going to see some kind of change, right? As we get into 58 days from now. We have a lot of 3s. Oh, we have a few 3s. A few 3s in there. All right, good. Okay, let's also don't forget that today is a big day because it is the kickoff to the Summer Olympics over into right now. It's 9:32 here, but it's after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They're into Paris as they're getting ready for a active setup there, I'm sure, with the opening ceremonies. Keep in mind, our newscast coverage is going to be odd the next couple of weeks. Okay, so I'm going to see you guys here on the blog every day, so don't worry about that. But the newscast part will be different. Obviously, a lot of our coverage will be covered up by NBC for the Olympics itself. We will have a midday show today, and we will be streaming our 3, 4, and 5 o'clock newscast will be streamed here as well. Not on the television side, so keep that in mind. You won't see it there, but on streaming, we'll hit you at the top of the hour, 3, 4, and 5. So we'll keep you updated on the active weather the next a couple weeks, several days ahead of us. So we're not going anywhere. So if you don't see us on there, just know that we are here, and we'll keep you posted on a day-by-day basis as coverage goes along. But just kind of a heads up, some changes with our newscast there starting today. Opening ceremonies, excited. Okay, live view there. Oh, kind of overcast looking. We've dealt with this past couple of days, high overcast. You're still getting sun. If you look carefully, there's still some shadows there. So you're still getting sun that's going to hit the ground. It's still going to be heating up. I think we have a good chance to get very close to 90. Tawana moved us up to that forecast high today of about 90. I think 90 is a good number for the way things are looking. You can see the high-level clouds plentiful across the area. That is not going to change today, guys. Sorry. You may have a little more blue the more north you go, but still it's just a one of those high-level cloud scenarios because it's such a tropical environment in the deep south. Now, the deep tropical moisture has been pushed a little more south into Tennessee, but if you look carefully, there is still a hint of moisture right through here, a little bit of a darker green right along the parkways. That is where our rain chance today will stay kicked in at 10%, I believe it is, maybe up to 20 in some cases. Isolated storm chance, though, mainly south, because, again, the moisture has shifted a bit more. If you're north of that, including Louisville and including Indiana for sure, you're looking good today. Now, will it stay down there? Well, you guys know the answer to that. It's not going to. It's going to surge back northbound. And in fact, when we look at the entire country, much of the country, other than the fires out west and the heat, which is always a big story for them, we're going to be focused on what's happening with this small tropical low that is currently over Arkansas. And if you can see it spinning right there over portions, actually just south of Arkansas and Louisiana, but spinning right in that area, it is going to continue to spin up and up and up and up into eventually Missouri and then Illinois. As it does so, it is going to take all that tropical moisture and just throw it right into Kentucky and Indiana as we head into Sunday and Monday. And some of this is going to be quite heavy because there will be a training effect that'll happen. All right. So who was it that asked about Holiday World earlier? I totally forgot already. Sorry about that. Angie, that's right. Angie, this is where you need to pay attention. This is where we're getting into the weekend. Okay, so here we go. First off, this afternoon, we're fine. Again, near 90, you see the little storm chance that popped up there in the parkways. We got that covered. Tonight, not as warm and muggy tonight, but it will be noticeably warm, not exactly a cool night. Tomorrow, we actually look pretty hot tomorrow. I think we'll get into the 90s. But I don't see much of a trigger for a storm that we can't rule it out. Anytime this time of year you get moisture around anywhere, you get those little pop-ups. So it's hard to go to a 0% chance of rain in summer in the Ohio Valley, but you get the idea. Most of you will be dry on Saturday. It is going to be a typical hot summer day. But now we get the tropical low that is going to begin to be, oops, just completely messed them up. Sorry about that. That is going to be spinning here across Missouri and Illinois. Now here is where things get a little more complex, Angie, and for everyone else. Is that the low itself, yes, is heading northeast toward Lake Michigan. But the flow is going to be heading basically due north as the low tries to head eastbound, but it is going to struggle to head east. So what happens is you get a low pressure, it's spinning, pulling in all that moisture, and the moisture just keeps funneling up ahead of it, but the low is just crawling along, and it's going to be a wave of about 18, 20 hours that will be in that flow basically until finally it gets east of us. That will cover Sunday into Monday. That will be in that zone of storms just kind of redeveloping in the same spots and training northbound. So keep looking south on the radar for this weekend. Anything south that's red, certainly it's showing up, it's likely heading your way, but they will move very slow. This means some areas will get completely missed because it's not going to be a widespread band of rain. It'll be kind of broken bands. So some of you will have a partly sunny sky and be fine. And then some of you are going to just get inundated with heavy rain. And I'm talking about potential of 1 to 3 inches easily that you can pick up out of these storm cells. Where that will happen, that is going to be the challenge. And Angie, right now, your question on Holiday World, hold on 1 second. My Microsoft calendar just popped up for some reason. I am such a boomer. Oh, there we go. Got rid of it. Okay. So don't make fun of me. So the flow, because it is coming in straight from the south, Kentucky, especially southern Kentucky, will get more of the impact of the heavy rain than, say, Indiana will. So you could look out, Angie, on Sunday where these showers and storms are moving through, but perhaps we'll get majority of the action more into Kentucky, and you may see a downpour or thunderstorm, but you may not get stuck in that heavy rain flow as much as areas just to your south will be. Southeast of Owensboro. So I think you'll be okay, but I want you to be aware you need to plan for delays that could happen for about an hour or two because of lightning and heavy rain. And let's hope none of these bands work their way into that area of Santa Claus, Indiana, but I can't rule it out. But Kentucky stands a higher risk. So having said that, those of you in central Kentucky, pay extra attention. You've had more rain than anyone else. Grayson County, over into Hart County and Barron County, you guys have had more rain than pretty much any part of Kentucky has had this year, nearly double in some cases. So you guys are really much more prone to get flash flooding. So we need to watch that because the idea, again, of the training effect will get Sunday into Monday. All right, we advance this. You can see more showers and storms, and you get to see, and I mean, the model is not going to get this exactly right, but I'm looking at this just from the meteorological standpoint of a tropical low moving north and east. This is typically what happens. So that's why we got a high rain chance. Futurecast, I doubt it's going to show exactly what I'm trying to explain until we get to the reality. It just rarely happens that way. All right, so that's the weekend. Next week gets a little more complex as well because we get back into the lovely MCS territory where we've got that jet that's dipping in right across the Great Lakes. We've seen that several times this year, which is very interesting and will be a very interesting part of the upcoming fall season and perhaps the winter. More on that in the coming blog updates. But that will put us into a northwest flow. We're going to get hot every day. Every day we'll have to be on guard, though, because we have to keep an eye on Chicago, especially Chicago, but parts of Iowa and Missouri, because big-time thunderstorms are going to keep blowing up there, and they're going to race right in the direction of Indiana and Kentucky and Ohio. Now, they will change direction as they form, so we don't know exactly if we're going to get hit by every one of them, but potential is certainly there. That's going to put us into a stormy setup for sure. In fact, this is the wind flow aloft. This is at 500 millibars. And I highlighted where you can see the high itself that is over here in Texas. You see the flow. It may be hard to see the black lines. Let me bring this up full screen. Sorry about that. You can see the black lines there showing the flow, where if the storms form, that's the motion they would take. It's the east and southeast. But notice it has it, the jet streak is right there. That's where they'll likely initiate. This is Tuesday as an example. We'll see this again probably Wednesday and Thursday, as you're about to see. But they will initiate in the Midwest, and then they develop and they feed on high moisture. So they'll turn and with that wind flow and really attack any area that has a high dew point, which will be our area. Damaging winds are usually the biggest threat with those more than anything. We've seen this already in the Midwest this summer. And yeah, that's a setup you got to watch. And it's a weird one, too, because the forecast for several of the daytime periods will be fine, just partly sunny and hot. But it's the nighttime periods that we run into more problems with the scenario than any other time. Storm Prediction Center does not have us outlook for severe weather. CSU does. Starting on Tuesday and really just about every day, we have a bit of an elevated risk, but you can see the highlight. Now, the right's SBC, where there's nothing. Left is CSU, Colorado State, Learning Machine. See it aims for slightly elevated more risk or slight risk for severe weather for Tuesday. So again, I do think we're going to get some alert days here, but it's hard to put out an alert day yet until we know the time frames and when they'll form. So it's going to be a little weird next week, guys. So please stay close to the forecast and bear with us, because we're going to have to make some tough decisions and try to balance it all out, but we're on it. All right, here is the Euro model. I'll try to show you hour by hour on how this is play out. Here we go. Monday's mess. It moves on by. All right, so here we go. Look at the Cape. That's what you see, the gold color. That's the fuel. Green will be the rain and thunderstorms. The red is fuel, but the gold is the really high fuel, the Cape. And you look here on Tuesday, you can see it really blows up. This is Tuesday evening. It really blows up. MCS forms. Boom, dives right into Missouri, into Kentucky, falls apart. This is Wednesday morning at sunrise. We get into Wednesday morning again, another round of storms may form. Now, this one may form a little more in the daytime period. We'll see on Wednesday. We get into Wednesday afternoon. We load up again, more fuel. Thunderstorms form. MCS dives to Tennessee. We get into Thursday afternoon, more fuel. MCS forms, dives towards Kentucky and Tennessee. We get into Friday, more fuel. Showers and thunderstorms that dive again to Kentucky and Tennessee. And Saturday, we continue this. You see why my hair's gray? Type 6 if you got all that. Now, I hope you guys understand that it's not going to be exactly as I just played out as far as timing, but you can see the complexity. It's just going to be a stuck pattern that's going to keep repeating. So we're going to be watching it. But I do think the nighttime periods will be more at risk than daytime. All right. Everyone's good? All right. I like that. All right. Let's get into the 10-day and kind of see how this is going to play out here the next 10 days. Again, I mentioned before, it's going to be hot as we head into the next couple of days, even today. 90, 92 tomorrow. There's the tropical low. This is separate than the MCS, the mesoscale convective system set up next week. So this is separate. Sunday, Monday is a different ordeal. There's a tropical low that will give us heavy rain. That's where the rain chance is higher because we're a little more confident in the environment for that setup. You get into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and even Saturday. Again, it's not going to storm the entire time, but the nighttime periods will need to be watched. You see what happens in the daytime. will be into the 90s. It will be a hot setup. We could get close to heat advisory level in a couple of days. What was that? In the firing line every day. You're right, Adam. We're in the firing line every day. Sean, looks like a fun week ahead. Yeah, again, hot during the day, stormy at night, kind of an odd one. And as Eugene says, ditto, ditto, ditto. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Have a good one. Behave yourselves. I'll see you coming up today at noon before we get to the opening ceremony of the Paris Olympics. I hope you guys are excited.